everyone. Welcome to day 10 of the 28-day Get Hired Challenge. I'm Melissa Miller, and today we are talking about getting to know yourself. All right, everyone, welcome to day 10 of the 28-day Get Hired Challenge. I'm Melissa Miller, and we are talking about you today. We are talking about getting to know yourself. Because if you're going to try to find a job and try to start a career in cybersecurity, well, you got to know what your passions are. You got to have that personal brand. And I'm going to tell you, we want you to have a personal objective statement. So these are the things we're going through today. The rubber's really starting to meet the road now because we're starting to get into some of the exercises that are included in the book. So without further ado, let's get started. We're talking first about finding your authentic uniqueness because you see, it's important that you understand who you are. And it's authentic because it comes from deep inside. It's unique because it's what makes you special. So, finding your authentic uniqueness. This is our first exercise. So you might want to go get paper and pen. You might want to fire up Notepad or Word or something on your laptop. Whatever it is. If you got to pause the video, go get that stuff. Come back. We'll be here. But let's dig in. So this is what we're going to do. I want you to start first by just imagining you're giving an interview. Whether it's for a magazine, newspaper, TV show, the news, I don't care, whatever. You're giving an interview, and I want you to think of 10 to 15 things you would want to talk about, that you would want people to know about you. It might seem like a lot, but trust me, you can do it. You can come up with them. 10 to 15 things that you could talk about in a 30-minute interview about yourself. If you think about it in terms of 30 minutes, I'm sure there's 10 to 15 things you can come up with. All right, then I want you to take those 10 to 15 things and I want you to write a paragraph describing yourself. You may not fit them all in there. You may not get all of the 10 to 15 that you listed. That's fine. But no more than about 200 words. Write a quick paragraph describing yourself. Now I want you to go back and read that paragraph and find 3 things that you wish you could have had more space to talk about. 3 things that, a 200-word paragraph with all this other stuff just wasn't enough. Take those 3 things, and now I want you to pick the one that stands out the most. What's that one thing out of those 3 things that you really wish you could have spent more time on? What is one thing that stands out the most? And we're going to use that. We are going to leverage that as the start of your personal brand. So why am I doing this? Well, if you remember all the way back, I think it was episode 1 or 2, I mentioned how often people come to me and they say, they want to get into cybersecurity, but they really don't have a good understanding of what they want to do in cybersecurity or why they want to get into cybersecurity. So let me share some data with you first from my surveys that I did for the book. The first was asking those prospective candidates, those who weren't working in cybersecurity but were aspiring professionals, to describe what interests them about working in cybersecurity. And what you see is I got kind of a number of different answers here, but for a lot of people, for most of them, learning about technology was really important. They mentioned it being like a puzzle. A lot of people said they wanted to make a difference. There's that idealism coming through again. We see people who are interested in protecting privacy, they're being part of a community. Yeah, some people even mention good salaries. All of these are various reasons, and as you can see, of course, people were able to select multiples of these in their answers, and you can see what was most important to these people. And it's important because there's a lot of different reasons why you might be getting into cybersecurity. So as you're looking and being able to communicate that to others, and as you're trying to figure out just what direction you want to go, understanding those motivations is going to be important. Now, I also asked that of people who've been in the career for a while. Those were experienced professionals. I asked them the same question. And what you'll see is a lot of it's the same. You see, learning about technology and it being a puzzle and making a difference are right up there at the top again. High salaries are there too. All the same things. They're kind of in that similar order. That idealism, that curiousness, all of those things we talked about a couple episodes ago when we talked about the characteristics of cybersecurity professionals. So you can see these are things that are going to carry with you throughout your career. But we want to be able to understand them early. So that's why we're talking about this whole idea of personal branding. So you've got that first step. We identified your authentic uniqueness, right? We dug into that. You've got that. And we're going to leverage that in a minute to be part of your personal brand. That's that thing I want you to lead with. Remember when we talked about the entry-level challenge? I said make yourself stand out. Hold on to that element, that authentic uniqueness, because that is a thing that you're going to be able to build on all the way through your job search and your career. All right? So now let's talk about your passions. Let's figure out what is it that you're passionate about in cybersecurity. So we've got our next exercise. And for our next exercise, I want to identify your passions. So again, make sure you got something to write on or to type with or whatever. And you're going to need a computer for this one because I want you to go out to your favorite blogs, news sites, tech news, cybersecurity news, whatever. And I want you to find 5 blogs or articles on 5 different topics. They need to be different topics, okay? Everyone's got to be different. I want you to take them and I want you just to write down the headline or title. Nothing else, just the headline or title from 5 blogs or articles. Then I want you to rate those in order of how interesting they are to you. Just, again, don't read the article, just the headline, just the title. Which ones interest you the most and rate them in order. Now I want you to write down why they interest you. What is it? Is it because they're talking about, some cool new technology? Is it because they're talking about the latest breach and that's kind of fascinating to you? Why is that fascinating to you? Dig into that a little bit. But I want you to write down why each one of those interests you. And then I want you to take that and summarize those into categories. Can you find a theme? If you don't, if it's 5 separate categories, that's okay too. But what is it? Is it mystery? Is it a puzzle to be solved? Is it because they talk about privacy concerns? Is it because they talk about cool technologies that you want to dig into? What are those high-level categories that describe the reason why each one of those titles or headlines interested you? This is where we start to see your passions come alive. Now we're starting to understand what are those areas of cybersecurity that you're going to be most interested in. Because now this is going to help guide you in the coming episodes as we start to look at what types of roles might fit you best in cybersecurity. But we're not done yet. We've got more to do. We've got one more exercise that's a part of today's episode, and that is we are coming up with your personal objective statement. Now, what's interesting is that, honestly, when I put this in the book, I'm not going to lie, I thought this got a little cheesy. I thought, I have one, and I kind of know what it is, but I also kind of thought that people would kind of be like, oh my gosh, that's too career coachy or whatever. That's kind of corny, Alyssa. But you know what? The feedback I've gotten on the book, people loved this. So that's why I'm going to share it with you. The last exercise is we're going to write your personal objective statement. because the value in this personal objective statement is that it can guide you throughout the rest of your career. It will guide your job search as you try to land that first job in cybersecurity. So what is a personal objective statement? Well, it's a statement, as it would imply, about your personal objective. Okay, great. Well, let's look at it a little better. I am, insert your personal brand here, the one that we figured out before, your authentic uniqueness, with a passion for the top one or two of those passions from your list. Now, I'm going to read directly from the book, okay? I've got the book right here. I'm going to read to you what I put in the book. This is my personal objective statement, okay? My personal brand is that I am a lifelong hacker who saved up and bought her first computer at the age of 12. You see why that stood out as a story about myself? My passion is that I love deconstructing technology to make it better. So my personal brand statement is pretty simple, or my personal objective statement is, I'm a lifelong hacker who, since buying my first computer at the age of 12, has always had a passion for deconstructing technology to understand it and improve upon it. That's the personal statement that we're looking to build here. We want your personal objective statement, and it just follows this simple format. So, what do I want you to do? I want you to construct that based on those elements. So your personal brand, one or two passions, the top one or two. And then I want you to edit it to fit your personality. Did you catch how I put that in there? I'm a lifelong hacker who, after buying her first computer at the age of 12, has always had a passion for deconstructing technology to understand and improve upon it. You see, I kind of put my own flavor in there. So do that. I want you to edit it for your personality. Whoops. And then I want you to take it to a friend or a colleague and ask for their feedback. Have them read it. See what they say. You don't have to give them any context other than say you're writing a personal statement and your personal objective statement and you want their feedback. And then you revise it. But don't turn it into their statement. Make sure it stays yours. But I want to see you develop your personal objective statement, because this is that thing that's going to guide you. This is like when companies talk about their vision and their mission, right? This kind of becomes your vision. It reminds you at all points what it is that makes you special and valuable in this industry, and it reminds you what is most important to you, what's deep down here for you that has got you interested in pursuing a career in cybersecurity, and that can guide you the rest of the way. So now it's comment time. It's time to give away another book. So you can guess what I want to hear from you in the comments. This one requires you to work and expose yourself a little. I want to see the results of one of the three exercises. Either I want to see what is your authentic uniqueness, what is that personal brand of yours, or I want you to share with us your top 5 passions, what were those 5 categories, or if you're really brave, share with us your personal objective statement. I'll select one of those comments at random and you'll win a free copy of the book. Here's also a reminder for you that all this month, Manning Publications is giving away 35% off all titles. So go to their website, enter that discount code or follow that link, or use that QR code that I've promised you and I continue to promise you. It is safe. There's no malware. There's no attacks, or I promise no rickrolls hiding behind that QR code. So go ahead and follow that and keep coming back. I want you to keep coming back because we've got more exercises like this. We're really starting to hit the crux of some of those helpful hints and ideas that are in the book that I'm hoping are going to help you get hired in cybersecurity. We'll see you next time.